Government under Rule 55.1, Standing Order 55.1, I have published a standing paper and notice paper with giving notice of 2 bills of the government and a government motion. I would also table a letter from the Leader of the Government in the House of Commons, dating to the 18th of July, 2020. Colleagues, before we begin our proceedings, I would like to say a few words.
Case for the previous recalls of the House, I understand that there will be agreement to see the application of Standing Order 17 suspended for the current sitting to allow members to practice physical distancing. I encourage all members to follow this and other recommended best practices during today's procedures. En conséquence, tout député qui désire obtenir la parole.
Any member who wishes to speak can rise or address the chair may do so from any seat in the House.
Members tabling a document or moving a motion, sign the document and bring it to the table themselves. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Yes, on a point of order, Mr. Speaker. Monsieur le Président, il y a eu consultation.
Mr. Speaker, there has been a consultation between the parties, and I think you will find that there is unanimous consent regarding the following motion. That, notwithstanding any standing order, special order, or usual practice of the House, A bill in the name of the Minister of Finance, entitled An Act Respecting Further COVID-19 Measures, be deemed to have been introduced and read a first time, and ordered for consideration at second reading later this day, and on Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. B, at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, July 21st, 2020, or when no member rises to speak, whichever is earlier, the Speaker shall interrupt the proceedings and put without further debate or amendment all questions necessary to dispose of the second reading stage of the bill, provided that, if a recorded division is requested, it shall not be deferred. C, if the bill is adopted at second reading, it shall be referred to a committee of the whole, deemed considered in committee of the whole, deemed reported without amendment, deemed concurred in at report stage, and deemed read a third time and passed. D, when the bill has been read a third time and passed, the House shall adjourn until Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020, pursuant to the order made on Tuesday, May 26th, 2020.
On Public Safety and National Security and the Special Committee on Canada-China Relations be added to the lists of committee in paragraph E of the order made on Tuesday, May 26, 2020, and F, the application of Standing Orders 15 and 17 be suspended until Monday, September 21st, 2020.
Does the Honourable Minister have the unanimous consent of the House to move the motion?
Yes.
Agreed? Agreed. La Chambre a entendu l'énoncé de la motion.
The House has heard the motion. Is it the House's pleasure to adopt the motion? Adopted.
The Honourable Opposition House Leader, Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise today on a question of privilege regarding an incident that occurred in Committee of the Whole on July 8th, 2020. I know you're aware of this because I made the case to you a couple of weeks ago. You came back to the House and identified the unique circumstances. So I thought now that the House is sitting, I would expand on the remarks I made on that day. And I would first like to present to you my argument that in this special case, it is within your authority and your duty as Speaker to rule on the matter raised in Committee of the Whole. As you yourself have noted on July 8th, Mr. Speaker, I quote, the situation is somewhat particular in that the question of privilege was raised in the Committee of the Whole and the procedure for dealing with it is quite different than it is in the House. What complicates this matter even further is that the work of the Committee of the Whole today and the work scheduled this summer are strictly governed by an order of the House that limits these proceedings and dictates that the committee must now rise, end quote. The situation, Mr. Speaker, is more than particularly complicated. The House order adopted on May 26 would appear to run counter to some of the more important tenets of our parliamentary democracy, such as Parliament's authority to defend members' privileges or take action to keep the executive accountable. While the Liberals, with the support of the NDP, provided us with these occasions to talk in Committee of the Whole, they have effectively prevented members from taking any action. And that, Mr. Speaker, is the point of my submission to you today, and why I believe you should intervene on this question of privilege that arose in Committee of the Whole on July 8th. Page 156 of the third edition of House of Commons Procedure and Practice explains the procedure when a member rises on a question of privilege in Committee of the Whole. Quote, "The Chair will hear the question of privilege. As in a standing, special, or legislative committee, the role of the Chair is to decide whether the matter raised does in fact relate to privilege. If the matter raised by the member touches on privilege and relates to events in the Committee of the Whole, the Chair will entertain a motion that the events be reported to the House." The terms of the May 26 order does not provide for a motion to be moved. Therefore, the matter of my question of privilege cannot be reported to the House. Pages 152 and 153 of the third edition of House of Commons Procedure and Practice notes, quote, "Speakers have consistently ruled that, except in the most extreme situations, they will hear questions of privilege arising from committee proceedings only upon presentation of a report from the committee, which